Welcome back, Sunday Ballers. This is the Sunday Ball Podcast. This is episode 5 already, the 5 anniversary. This is your host, Dom, as well as Jake, and we've been watching the NFL draft all weekend, along with the playoffs, of course, watching plenty of basketball. But the NFL draft is what's really been on our mind, and if you tuned in Friday, you were able to review our first round analysis, and we talked about grades and all that fun stuff. But today is a really big episode. We're going to be talking about rounds 2 through 7, specifically our favorite prospects that were drafted in the last 2 days. It froze up. I hope you caught that.
No, I caught the whole thing. Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know. Let's hope so. But yeah, so Jake, what are you thinking for the format today?
So what we're thinking today is we're gonna go through our top three picks or top three steals, whatever you want to call them, like our favorite picks from rounds 2 and 3, and then we're gonna walk through 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Yes.
We're gonna do two picks from there, just because day 3 guys should only get we should only get two guys, because I feel like if we're gonna end up talking about those guys for too long, yeah, we're gonna be getting some real deep pulls that a lot of people probably wouldn't even know.
Yeah,
We
it's
could be, we could
the
be,
sixth and seventh rounders. That's
yeah,
true teams are built during that period. You remember with the
yeah,
Seahawks. But yeah, we originally I was thinking 3 picks for the second, 2 picks for the third, and a pick each for 4 through 7. We both decided that was not enough. There was too many
no,
dudes, too
there's too
many
many
fun
dudes.
picks. There's a lot of fun picks out there from quarterback to the end. A lot of fun picks. So we are going to be talking about those. So I
Yeah,
think we should just get right into it. We can take
yeah.
our time with it.
And
But
also, I have not heard his list. He has not heard my list, so
mm,
there might be some overlap. But yeah, we're each inclined to our own opinion,
yeah.
and yeah, we'll probably agree on a lot of these, but there are a few guys
Mhm.
that we could definitely talk about. So I'll start.
Please
Do
do.
you do you think I should go through my top three from the
You know what?
second?
Yeah, I'd love for you to go through your top three in the second.
Okay. My top three picks from the second round. I am going to start with TJ Parker to the Bills. I love that pick. It really fills out that defensive line well. Um, Pairing with Ed Oliver and Bradley Chubb being opposite across from him, and they definitely needed to come in with a pass rusher. They also traded out of their first round pick to get more picks and traded back to get the guy that they really wanted in TJ Parker. So I just thought this was a really good value pick. He had a down year at Clemson, but Clemson in general had a bad down year. They just didn't have I
They
don't
didn't
know.
have it. They didn't have
Every
it.
Yeah, they
Dabo
just
got
didn't have
zapped.
it.
They didn't have it. God wasn't with Dabo. I don't know what it was.
Yeah,
They
they just
didn't
didn't
have it.
have it this year. It was not
Syracuse beat
like
them this year. Syracuse sucked this year. We were horrible this
yeah.
year. That
Yeah.
says something.
No, it was a really, really bad year for Clemson. But he still stood out, and the year prior, and he's had great production in previous years. It was just a down year across the board for Clemson, and I think that's why he fell to the second. I felt like he was a first round grade, and his intangibles are bizarre. Like, I think he is some of the. I think his arm length is up there with the top guys getting drafted right now. Speed's there. He's really a great edge rusher, and I think he's going to help the Bills a lot. So I'll move into my second steal, and that's going to be Emmanuel McNeil Warren
There we go.
from
The
Toledo
Rocket. The
University.
Rocket.
We absolutely love this pick. I know we both love this pick, but
Yeah, I
just to
did.
go,
I had to hold
I
off
think
from picking him for my guys.
I think his measurables were. Let me just double check because I don't want to get any of this wrong.
I believe he's
I
six
think he's six
three and a
four,
half.
right?
Six
Six
four,
three and
six
a
three and a
half,
half.
six
Yeah.
three and a half.
He's a big boy. You can tell him.
Um,
He's long. He hits hard.
yeah,
He he needs to work on his coverage skills directly. I will say that in man, but he's
yeah,
good over the top. He has the ability to run up and steal a ball right out of a wide receiver's hands. He's
yeah. And he
physical.
doesn't
Hard.
have that recovery speed that you see from a lot of DBs.
Yeah.
But still, to be the 15th ranked prospect on some people's big boards
Hmm.
and to go at 58, this is a great value pick, and I
Yeah.
think the Browns killed the entire second round.
Hmm.
Their first round, I think they did a very good job with as well. They might be my overall winners for the draft.
I love the Browns draft. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was one of the best drafts, and you really just focused on offense, which is obviously a priority. The defense was they kept the
Touchdown
Ravens to like
sandwich.
14 points with like, or 17 points with like healthy Lamar and healthy Derrick
Defense
Henry.
was top five last year, which
Yeah,
just talks about how bad the Browns were as an actual offensive
yeah,
unit. It's if they had an even average offense, they would have been a playoff team.
no, and then just sharing up their skies with this because that was one of their bigger. That was probably their only hole on defense. Like their front seven is phenomenal,
Hmm.
but their back end is.
He fills the spot. I see.
Yeah, and he could be more like that Nick Emmanwori striker guy. And a lot of people talked about Emmanwori not being a great coverage guy, and that's why he fell to the second last year as well. And he's one of the he might develop into one of the best safeties in the league at one point. Yeah, and just the size there is incredible, and really
Yeah.
like what the Browns did this entire draft. And to get him at 58 when he was
Hmm.
buying away a guaranteed first rounder is kind of
Yeah.
insane. And a lot of that happened in this draft, but this one was like the biggest, one of the biggest falls, aside
Yeah.
from McCoy, who we'll talk about later.
Especially, but not. He wasn't a guy that was dealing with injury problems.
No,
That's interesting because we'll talk about McCoy a little bit later. Hint, hint.
and
But
is Toledo in Ohio?
yes, Toledo, Ohio.
In-state kid. I love when they take in-state kids.
Yeah, you gotta love in-state kids,
And,
and
and
it's
then
usually the Steelers who do that, but it's really the whole AFC North loves their
no,
local.
no, a lot
They
of
love
teams
it.
do it. Like even Tampa Bay with getting
Oh yeah,
Bane.
Florida teams love it. That's for
Oh,
sure.
I have Bane
Dolphins
as
love
my.
it. Yeah.
I'll talk about this at the end because I just want
Hmm.
to get through my stuff. And then my
Please do.
last one is Jake Slaughter out of Florida. I had him as a first round grade. I thought he was going to go at the back end to the Seahawks. In the first round, I don't exactly remember what team he went to. He went to the Chargers, and I think this. I'm like, why? I'm like, why would I put him? Because I did have a high value on him, but the Chargers need interior O line, and to get a staple at center that could probably play for the next 10 to 15 years, I really love this kid coming out.
He was a first team All Pro, right? First team
Yeah,
American. Yeah.
yeah,
That's
to
not
get yeah, like Florida, like to get and like Florida. That's the thing with Florida is like they never really have a great team, but they always have
wild
guys
kid.
that are top. They always have like guys that are like very productive in the NFL. But they also do have busts, Like there's a lot of guys that came from Florida that were just great college players.
I don't know, with all their NIL funding and all of the past success. Oh no, it was the kid from Iowa that was first team All American. That's what I was thinking of. Because I remember
He
seeing
was
him.
done.
Where did he go? Logan
Yeah.
Jones?
No, I
Maybe
knew
I'm
I
down.
knew he was up there. I don't know. He was definitely getting votes for it. But yeah, just to get a guy like to shore up that inside for the Chargers, and that's exactly what they need. And their first round pick was, I think they went Mesidor. Yeah. No,
Chargers?
I
I don't
really
think they
like the
had a
Chargers
first
draft
rounder.
too, especially.
Well, they did. Yeah, they
No,
stole
they did. They
Messi.
went Mesidor.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, I think they
Hmm.
killed their first two
Replacement for Khalil.
rounds. I didn't really.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, and even like to learn from Khalil Mack, we talked about that a little bit. Very productive, but I really like what the Chargers did. They're shoring up some holes, and Harbaugh is going to make that team a run first. Draft O'Marion Hampton.
Hmm.
If he's going in
Yeah.
the second round, draft O'Marion Hampton. I had him last year. He was putting up 20 points a game, easy,
Yeah, I had him
before he got
somewhere
hurt.
around the 20. Yeah. But all right.
Yeah, so those are my.
First to start off. Yeah, I liked your three genuinely. I think McNeil Warren is my favorite pick out of all those guys. It took a little bit of effort to not have him on my list. I do think he has the ability to play up in the box and match up well with tight ends. He can blitz off the end. He can be a. I know he kind of fizzled out, but his peak was undeniable. He can be a Jamal Adams type of safety in the right defense and
Yeah,
develop.
no,
The Browns
my
have a
ceiling for
solid.
him was.
I
Yeah, my ceiling for him was Derwin,
Yeah, I see the Derwin
just because
thing.
of
I don't know
a
if he has the
bit more
coverage that
size.
Derwin does, but and he's
Yeah,
a
he doesn't
little.
cover.
Eh,
That's why Derwin went in the top 10.
yeah. All right.
Drafted.
So I'll get into mine, and then we can discuss and all that good stuff. So to start off, just an honorable mention to Logan Jones from Iowa. He was picked 57 to the Bears. I love that pick. He's another guy. Same thing. like the pick you talked about, a guy that can be plug and play, that can be a 10-year, 15-year center. He's a big old white center from Iowa. It's tried and
Iowa produces O linemen.
it's tried and true. You do not have to worry about it. He was a first team All American, best center in the country. I mean, it speaks for itself. I don't need to speak about it anymore.
Where did he fall? Like what?
57 to the Bears.
Bears are killing it.
Yeah, Bears killed it. They are also
No,
one
but
of my favorites.
that's a weird pick though because they just got Bradbury.
Let
Yeah,
them flow. Let him flow. I don't care if he's playing
yeah.
guard. He's a
I
great
think the
guy to
Bears.
that
I think
offense.
the Bears did great too with Thiemann too.
Oh,
They did a really good job
I think we talked about that pick and definitely
in
showed our
detail.
love
In detail.
in
I
detail. But it's
gave that
hard.
an A plus.
Yeah, that's an A plus because it's a great pick. It just is. It was a steal at the
Yeah.
time. He was a top 20 minimum guy, and they got him at 25. It's just,
Yeah.
but whatever. All right, so my steal of the second, and probably my steal of the whole entire draft, all things considered, is Caden McDonald out of Ohio State at number 37 or number 36. Sorry. They traded up to number 36 in front of the Giants, who were at 37, and no doubtedly would have taken him. But to talk about Caden McDonald, I had a high first round grade on him. I believe in my projection. I had him going 15 to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I like the Buccaneers pick for Ruben Bain, but that's how, just speaks on how highly I really thought of Caden McDonald. He is an absolute stuffer in the middle. He compares to Jordan Davis. I think that was my comp for him. Uh, I
No.
love the pick. It makes the rich richer. The Texans had a top three defensive line in the NFL last year. Their only real problems there were their interior guys, and man, I love Caden McDonald in the middle there. That is, I, how do you talk about that front? Seriously, that it's crazy. They're gonna be disgusting. Seriously, it could be a big season for the Texans. As we've talked about, they were in my top 10. I think they were
Yeah, I think
as well.
it entirely depends on CJ.
It does. It does. But to be able to get not just a productive starter, but a guy with serious Pro Bowl potential, serious. I don't know if I'm going to reach out and say all pro just yet, but he has. I just don't understand how he didn't have a first round grade for most teams. In a 36, it is a fantastic pick, and it really made me upset that the Giants didn't get him because he would have. I probably would have traded him for Dexter Lawrence straight up if I knew we were going to get Maui Noah for him. No hate to Maui Noah, but just we have a huge hole in the middle that only Darius Alexander can fill right now, and he can't fill that. So whatever. But my second pick was number 53, C.J. Allen to the Colts. He fills a massive gap left by the Zaire Franklin departure. He was he our favorite in the draft for off-ball linebackers? He was right there.
No,
Hey,
you're up there. You had I
Styles doesn't
mean,
count.
I counted Reese as an off ball
Okay, if we're gonna count, okay.
and Sonny
Besides,
Styles.
besides
Styles and
Reese,
Reese.
besides Reese Styles, who are in another class of their own, he was most likely the best off-ball
Yeah,
linebacker in this draft. Some people had Rodriguez. I might have, but I probably
I
some people had
had
T.J.
I
Hill.
like Jake. I like
But
Jake Golday from Cincy.
yeah,
I had
Golday,
him up
he's good
there.
too. But I really do like C.J. Allen. He's just a brute
I knew
at
CJ.
linebacker. He's missing the athleticism of a guy that can step up and rush off the edge. But that's okay. Sometimes you need a pure middle guy. He reminds me of Demario Davis a lot. So he's a really good pick at 53 to get a productive plug and play starter. He will be a starter week one on this team, and that's good value in the second. This is where teams are built. My third would be Avion Terrell at number 48 to the Falcons. Another just a steal, a first round grade, and not even a late first round grade at that. Probably somewhere in the 20s. I thought he was going to go where, at the end of the first, from 26 to 32, there was every team just about had a big secondary gap. And secondary didn't
Yeah,
go there. That's why there was a lot of secondary players took in the second and the third. But I expected him to go in the first at that gap. So to get him at 48, a guy who is uber aggressive, was it 8 forced fumbles in college? That's crazy, maybe 9 even. But to have him in a developmental landscape where he can get paired with his brother, who is one of the best corners in the NFL, and now it's Terrell X Terrell. There is no one better for his development and his confidence than his own brother, who is one of the best corners in the NFL to develop. He will probably be starting right opposite of him this season. And at number 48, I love it. I compared him to Asante Samuel in our comparison video, and in this context, I do think that he can develop into a pseudo Asante Samuel, and that is a really strong player. So that's my second.
Yeah, no, and for the Falcons not having a first round pick to get a guy that
Yes.
has first round value in the second, in like the mid second round, right? They got him at
Yep.
like
And
48. It's a great pick.
they had better they had I'm not gonna say better, but they had great picks this draft. Zachariah Branch is a guy that some people are going
Yeah,
first. I mean, they
yeah,
picked him.
and even Kendall Daniels
Yeah,
hits,
they had a
hits.
good draft. A lot of teams. There's no teams that I looked at and I said, I hate it. You did horrible this year. I didn't love the Seahawks, but then again, they plugged holes. They did. They picked
No,
what's his name, the TCU safety in the second, and I Bud something. Bud is Bud
Bud
Clark.
Clark.
Bud Clark, yes. And I love that to plug and play where you have gaps. I love that pick as well for the
Yeah.
Seahawks. I'm not even. There was never really a team that I just hated this year. I thought one of the teams did.
There was a few.
There's
There was.
we can get into our losers if we really need to.
Yeah, yeah. If we have time.
There
All
is.
right.
The Cardinals were a loser. The Cardinals lost bad. The Cardinals had a bad draft.
Well, I think it was more the Cardinals need to like sell
Bad draft.
Speeds at that point.
I don't know whoever's at quarterback next year is going to get eaten because you had no offensive lineman, and oh great, you drafted a running back at 3. Carson Beck's going to die. He's going to get sacrificed next season if he's the starter.
Yeah.
And
All
Jacoby
right. So,
Brissett's going to be the funeral of Jacoby Brissett. It's going to be rough.
bye bye, Jacoby. Bye bye. And
Gardner Minshew.
Gardner
At least you
Minshew.
got 3 guys.
That's my
Maybe the
favorite.
top starts
That
at.
was that was the best Halloween costume I ever had.
It is great. The second mention on the pod. Second Gardner Minshew costume on the pod. You gotta give
I
him
might have to run it back.
number 2. All right. So
All right. So I know, and like like I feel like a lot of teams have better drafts than other teams. So I am going to be talking about the Indianapolis Colts again and the Falcons. Wow, I doubled up on that. And who's my last one? Pregnon. Yeah, so
finish up with Pregnone because he's on my list as well.
yeah. So my first guy is AJ Halsey to the Colts. The Colts secondary was one of the worst in the league last year, and to get a guy in the skies who a lot of people had a second round grade on, they had him at the fourth safety spot. And safety is a hard position to come by in the NFL, like especially really good guys. And I believe they departed from Kenny. No, they might have extended Kenny more. I can't remember.
They
But
have they have secondary holes. Their defense had holes in general.
yeah, their defense was not great last year. The offense was very productive in the first half of the season, but as the season progressed and they played the Jags twice, they played the Texans twice. They weren't, yeah, like they just did not have the tools to keep up with those two top teams in the AFC South, and I think this really does help fill that like a defensive hole for them and make their secondary a lot better. He's a great ball hawk. I think he did get undervalued a bit, but he was a noticeable guy on that LSU defense. I think he just got I think he got shadowed by Mansour Delane and his value and how well he played. So I think that's a big part of why AJ Halsey did fall. But I do classify it as a steal, and I think the Colts really did kill that pick there.
I agree.
The next guy I want to talk about, and I tried to stay away from receivers as much as possible because
A lot of them.
there's a lot of them and there's a lot of good ones.
Yeah.
But Zachariah Branch out of Georgia is a great gadget guy. You can line him up all over the field. Good punt returner, good kick returner. He's just he's like a lesser version of Casey Concepcion, and we thought very highly of him.
Yeah.
But he is in that ballpark of being that next guy, that next gadget guy that could kind of do it all and never come off the field.
Yeah.
And that was to the Falcons, and that gives them a receiver too, which they haven't had in a while.
Yeah.
Where they could let Drake London be Drake London, and have more valuable touches than what he was getting, because a lot of his touches last year were just volume, like just getting him the ball and really just trying to let him make plays, and that's not where he succeeds. He's one of the best contested catch guys.
Yeah. You want him outside of your Y.
Yeah,
I really like Branch playing Z in replacing Mooney in this offense. I do think it,
Yeah,
him, he compares. He's genuine. I mean, I don't know. The two players that come to mind when I watch his film are DJ Chark and Debo Samuel. I
yeah,
see him as like almost a weird hybrid between the two.
yeah,
I really love him in this offense. The Falcons are looking up next year.
yeah. The Falcons, they're one of those teams that are very hard to put a gauge on because they have a lot of top end talent, but there is a ton of holes across the board
Yeah.
on the Falcons. And I think they did a good job with their first two picks, not having a first round pick and going with Branch, and then you mentioned the other guy they went with that I can't think of right now.
Avion Terrell.
Avion Terrell. So I think they did a really good job. And like honestly, if those two guys are going against each other in practice, it's only going to make them better because that's going to be the receiver two against their corner two. So,
Two great
and
picks.
then last but not least, and like I know we both have this guy on our board, Emmanuel Pregnon going to the Jaguars, helping out that offensive line, which was
Number
productive. It was
88. Pick number 88. We had him in
pick
the
number
back of the
88.
first, early second.
We had him going back of the first. We really thought highly of him,
He's a
and the
plug
Texans.
and play starter. He's a steal. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't understand how he. I would have been fine with taking him at 37.
I would have been if I were the Giants. Like if
When
I
you
were
pick Caleb
redrafting
down
the
to
Giants,
10, then you'd get
down
pick
to
number
10.
37.
Yeah, yeah. So and like I didn't really get what the Giants were doing because they're talking about moving one of their guys to guard.
Yeah, they want Maui
And
Noah to play inside guard, which he's too big to
yeah,
play. I don't
yeah,
understand it. It should have been Ione because Ione's an all-pro type of prospect.
yeah, yeah.
Not going to get started. We're good.
But yeah, anyways, Pregnon, yeah, like we had him like early, like late first, early second grade on him, and then him going at
Pick number 88. That's so
88,
late. That's crazy.
88 to the Jaguars, and
That's
like a lot of
ridiculous.
teams need
How
interior
much?
offensive line guys. A lot of teams need interior offensive line, and that's like a big hole that a lot of teams need to fill. And they just really didn't. A lot of teams did not take advantage of that, or they drafted tackles that they're going to move inside anyways. But the thing is, if they're getting valued at tackles by other teams, the other teams are going to be paying them in 4 or 5 years when their contracts are up,
Yeah.
3 or 4 years when their contracts are up, tackle money to play tackle. So to get a guy as an interior guy that you don't have to necessarily pay as much as a cornerstone tackle has so much more value to it than just taking a tackle and trying to move him inside. And you don't always know how the transition is going to be. This guy was a stud at Oregon. He was moving people. Like you want to see some guys get moved.
Yep.
Aside from Ione, he is the second best interior offensive lineman I had on my board. So
Yep.
yeah, no,
Smart.
I'll let you talk about it more.
I agree with you. Smart players take interior offensive linemen, guards, and centers in the second and third. That's what they do. You get great
Yeah,
contracts with plug and play starters. There's so many
yeah,
around the league. Then you take tackle prospects late in the draft, wide
yeah,
receiver prospects, this and that, maybe some linebackers. But the Pregnon pick, I'll start off with. You said just about what I would say. I thought he was a beast on Oregon last season. He did an excellent job protecting in the run and the pass for Dante Moore. It's a steal. He's a plug and play guy. I would have no problem. He's going to be starting on the Jaguars this season because they could use the help. So he's a great pick, especially at number 88. The value is so there, just genuinely. It's a great pick, and I think they must have been psyched about it. My second player in the third I wanted to talk about is Jacoby Lane to the Ravens from USC. He's an absolute freak physically. He's about 6'5", runs in the 4.4s with a 40-inch vertical. He can be a producer on this Ravens offense that is lacking outside threats. I know you have Zay Flowers, but after that it gets a little tchotchke between Rashad Bateman and whatever else exists anymore.
and crippled up D Hop.
Yeah, I'm not not really
DeAndre.
going to take him into account, but shout out D-Hop. You were a beast about 10
Yeah,
years ago.
no, and like losing a guy like Likely, who was more like your contested
He was a
catch guy.
vertical threat. Yeah.
Yeah, having this guy be your vertical threat, I'm assuming he's probably going to be operating from.
He should be, because that's not where Zay plays. Zay shifts from like the Z to the X. I feel like he doesn't
Yeah,
do much
and I
wide.
don't think he's an X. I think
He's more of a Z.
he's a good deep threat, but he's also a
Yeah.
good gadget
It's
guy. But
more
he's not.
to shift up the pace. I like him going on, but that's not what we're talking about right now.
He honestly had like a sneaky good season last year. Zay.
Zay's awesome. I love him.
I'm not a big
Fantasy is genuinely wise. I really
I'm
do
not a
like
big
Zay Flowers.
Zay Flowers guy,
He
but
creates separation. Some of his routes are so twitchy.
Yeah,
He's got
he's
fantastic
got
route
some
running.
twitch.
But yes, so just to wrap up about Jacoby Lane, I really like the pick. Wasn't the most uber productive guy at USC, but he has the potential. And to take a guy at the 80th pick that can be a real player for your team next season, I love the pick. And number 94, Chris Bell, to the Dolphins. I mean, in our mock draft, I believe I had him going number 29 to the Chiefs. That's how high I am on this guy, and that was a little overdrafted, I won't lie. But before pre ACL, Chris Bell is a first round pick. I'm confident in that. He's a beast. You can watch his tape from this season. He has the potential and the opportunity now to be the number one for the Dolphins next season, and God knows they need it. They have just a wide open team right now, and it is anyone's to grab that number one spot. And who better than Chris Bell? I really do think he has the pop to be that guy. In my comparisons, I compared him to Flash Gordon, Josh Gordon, and he was a dog. And yeah, maybe that's a little bit of a high expectation, but it's his peak. And with such an open offensive scheme next year, and a rookie quarter, or not a rookie quarterback, but a young quarterback on a new deal looking to prove himself, and a running back to kind of open up that offense. Plus, they took some linemen in this draft to help protect, I believe. It's going to be a shit show in Miami next year. That's a fact. However, I really like Chris Bell's outlook for next year and moving forward in that offense. So he's my third guy in the third guy in the third. Number 4 through 7, day 3. Woo!
Day three, boys.
Day 3.
So my favorite pick in this draft, across the board,
Wow.
like biggest steal by far, Cade Klubnik to the Jets.
Yes,
Plug and play
sir.
starter. We got a Hall of Fame career right in our hands.
I
Um,
love it. I love it.
yeah, I wish I had a better sarcastic delivery for that because I think this is the worst pick in the draft. I think ESPN had him as like 11th best quarterback on the board, and for him to go this early is absurd. For him to go at all is absurd. Like he was decent.
To go at all is absurd. It is
He
though. It
was
really
decent.
is.
Yeah, for him to
I didn't lose
for
you,
like
right?
how unproductive he was at Clemson, I really thought he was going to be selling insurance by this time this year. Maybe real estate. He seems like more of an insurance guy than a real estate guy, but who knows? God. Yeah, I had to watch him
He
play way
seems like
too
a life
much and way
insurance
too
guy.
long.
That I could say. He feels like a life insurance guy.
Yeah, he seems like
We
he's
are
going to be
we are
selling
familiar with
insurance.
him. That is true.
Yeah, I
We are
did watch him a
familiar.
lot, and I did watch him make some plays, but nothing really spoke volumes. Arm talent's not there, the mobility's not there, and I can't wait to see him starting for the Jets week 13 next season. So
It's not a
it's
zero
going to be very
percent.
similar to Brady Cook.
It's a higher than
No,
zero
I think
percent
he's
chance he's
definitely.
starting next season.
I think he's going to be starting at some point in the season. And I think across the board, the Jets had a very odd draft. I did not love what the Jets did.
Funky.
Um,
It's not
they
even a
didn't really
very
address their
bad draft.
defense.
It's just very odd. It doesn't
Yeah,
make
like
sense. I don't know.
to go with like granted you don't have a lot of weapons on your team, but to go with two weapons in the first round, and you did have three first round picks, but to go with two weapons and then
But
pass on
Sadiq and Cooper. I like the
yeah,
D'Angelo Pons pick at 50. I mean, at 44, actually. I I, I kind of came
yeah.
around to it.
No, and
One.
like to not address defense after you got rid of most of your guys, you the only defensive guys you got Darnell Jackson out of Florida State, who's honestly pretty good. And actually Navy had more draft picks this year than Florida State across the board.
Yeah,
First
that's what's
time in
crazy.
70 years it ever happened. That's beautiful. And to pass on Reese, like you need help on your defense. You don't need a guy that's going to play one down, like play like only in like situational ball. You want a guy who's going to be playing every single down because your
Yeah.
defense was awful last year.
They're
And like
not at the point to
tonight,
draft an edge rusher. He won't make a difference, at least
yeah,
not.
no, and like I don't think the biggest issue with the Jets last year was their lack of offensive weapons. I mean, that wasn't helpful, but
Yeah. It's
I think it
just
was more.
misorganization, mis
I think their defense was such a problem last year. To not have a single interception is actually
The team
really
is they're
impressive.
cursed, man. I told you, Joe Namath needs to die before they win a playoff game, or before
Yes,
they win
I
a Super
agree.
Bowl, honestly. But
Anyways, so I'm not gonna keep bashing the Jets because I think they
we
did
can keep
some.
it moving. We can keep it moving.
Anyways, so my actual, yeah, no, I hate that he actually got drafted. My my real steal of this round is Jonah Coleman out of Washington.
Good pick.
I love this pick. I love the location of where he's going, and it's not necessarily a steal. I think I'm very high on Jonah Coleman, and I really like where he is. Had some thought of him possibly going at the end of the first to the Seahawks if they wanted to stay in state,
Hmm.
or even end of the second. But to get him in the fourth is honestly really good value, and that backfield is very finicky. J.K. Dobbins was very productive last season, and they want to expand Harvey's role a lot. But I think going by committee and
Yeah.
having a guy that's really going to be a head first
Hmm.
downhill runner,
Yeah.
big dude, on the goal line is only going to help that offense. And that offense is actually looking really scary this year
Hmm.
with the Jalen Waddle addition, and that receiver room is
Yeah.
phenomenal.
Paper.
Offensive line is one of the best in the league, and this is very similar to the C.J. Stroud position.
Top three contender, man.
Yeah, this is definitely a prove it year for the Broncos. Like, and prove it year for Bo Nix. You're giving them all the weapons. They still have one of the best defenses in the league, and they really have put themselves in a position to rely on their quarterback. And I
Yeah.
feel like it's very similar to where the Texans are.
Extremely similar teams.
Yeah,
Extremely.
because
And
a lot of the concerns with C.J. Stroud are very similar to Bo Nix. I'm much higher on Bo Nix just because
yeah.
I
But
love.
if you take a step back on both of them, though, they're just about as good as each other. Yeah, they
Yeah,
wrote, but they're just about on the same ledge. I would definitely not have one or the other extremely higher. Right now, I'd have Knicks, but it's only
yeah.
because of a strong playoff performance.
Yeah, and he's been in the league for 2 years. So for his third year, and to have a quarterback that's still on a rookie deal, where you're able to pay these guys and still have a really good defense, really good unit across the board,
Hmm.
along with a really good offense, I think Jonah Coleman really helps put
Hmm.
Bo Nix on the map this year and possibly pushes the Broncos over the edge and gets them to the Super Bowl at least.
Yeah.
Because I think they're the best team in the AFC. I really don't think there's much competition aside from. I mean, the Bills are still in a position where it's Josh Allen hero ball, but I'm actually going to be talking. And the Ravens might be back. I don't know, and the Chiefs are going to be back.
They're in just as good of a position as any. Genuinely.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. So I'm actually going to address the Bills, and I love this pick for them to get Skylar Bell
yep.
out of UConn. This was, and like I don't really want to harp on too many receivers, but him and Zachariah Branch were two guys that I had going in the second round at least. Skylar Bell, he's very similar to Shakir. I think that would be my like realistic comparison for him.
Fair.
But to get a guy like Shakir-esque, to get a guy that's really good after the catch and possibly being able to move on from Shakir
Hmm.
and give him the keys to that position, I think is going to be very, very productive for this team. I do think Skylar Bell might end up being a better prospect than what might be better. I do think he's going to be better than Shakir, but
Shakir's pretty
giving
solid.
Josh,
He got paid. I mean,
yeah, no, and the fact that he came from UConn is
yeah.
not
Oh, just Skylar
is not
Bell's
ideal for a lot of
great.
teams. But he came from UConn and came in third for the Blinknikov. Yeah, Blinknikov.
Biletnikoff.
Yeah, no, it's not coming out of my mouth right now.
Mm.
But yeah, that's not coming out. But he came in third for voting as a independent school, like a very like low end school. That's very impressive. Yeah, and like being behind Lemon and Jeremiah Smith, who were two guys that were considerably in a much better position than he was. He just had a great season.
I agree. I
Yeah,
agree. I love the pick,
yeah,
genuinely. He could have went as early as second, and I wouldn't have been upset. He has Yeah, I actually like the Shakir comparison. That's
Yeah. Yeah, that's like my realistic comparison.
I see a hint of D.D. Westbrook in him. Maybe D.D. has slightly better just pure speed, but
Yeah.
I do see it size
Yeah,
and
and he's a yak merchant. Like he's a
yeah.
guy like you get, and they love their screens there. I think it's a really good fit for him.
Well, all right. Should I get into mine? I believe so. All right. So at the 101, the fourth round, first pick, the Raiders took Jamad McCoy. This is an interesting pick because me and Jake both had him as our cornerback one, our cornerback twos. I had him anywhere from the 10 to the 20 in my player rankings, somewhere in that group. It's interesting to talk about because he was obviously drafted this late because of injury concerns. And I've been under the assumption that since he had his ACL tear last January, so January 2025, it's been about a year and a half, or it will be in the summer. And I felt good about him and that he had, because he does have that cornerback one potential. He is insanely fast. He has great recovery skills. He has great man skills, great ball tracking, all that fun stuff. So it must be an injury thing. But if he's
Yeah.
healthy, to get this guy that, like I talked about, the bona fide cornerback two potential wise in the draft, that's not even. I don't think that's even a discussion. To get him in the fourth round as a potential piece that it doesn't matter if he has to sit for a year and if there is injury concerns. We talked a little bit before the podcast about him maybe having a degenerative knee
Yeah, knee issue. I think it
disorder or
was either
something.
ligament, tendon, or bone. It was one of
Mhm.
the three.
So that's always scary, and I see why he went this late. I'm not saying because I would have loved him at the 37 pick to the Giants instead of Colton Hood, but if Colton Hood's going to be bona fide healthy next season and Jamad McCoy is a sit out for a season, I'd probably go with. Actually, I'd probably still go with McCoy, but yeah, that just speaks about how good of a prospect they do have a grade on him. And it's a great pick for the Raiders because if he sits for a season and you can make sure he's 150% healthy, when he's playing, you are going to have a starting level corner bare minimum. And I feel pretty good about that. My second pick in the fourth was the New York Jets taking Cade Klubnik at their fourth rounder. I do like the pick. I think he's a good quarterback. He has all the physicals. When you think of a quarterback, he has the size, he has the arm, he has the legs, he has the scramble ability, he has the cadence, he has the command of the offense. There's only one problem: he cannot play quarterback. Cade Klubnik should not have been taken in this draft. Uh, my second pick, my second guy.
No, there was like a video of him. He was like, I don't know. I was feeling it today that the Jets were gonna take me, and I'm like, if any team is gonna take you, it's gonna be the New York
You'd be
Football
happy the
Team.
Jets took you, man. I mean, genuinely, he was more of an undrafted guy, but whatever. But my second player in the fourth is Kyle Lewis out of Pitt, who went to the Dolphins. He's a steal here. He has the ability to, uh, maybe not like a concrete steal. I would not have taken him in the second, but he was a third round grade for me. He's very versatile. I like his ability. He's listed at linebacker, but he could be a safety type of hybrid. I like his ability to come up on the edge, to play off ball. The Dolphins need for lack of better terms, a Swiss Army knife. And he doesn't have the raw physicality of like a first round Swiss Army knife like Nick Emenwari. But he does have the versatility to play all over. I almost see him as like a Matt Milano on the Bills, and Matt plays more off ball, but he also has been known to play wherever the Bills need him. He's a little more athletic than Matt is, to be honest. So I really like the pick there, and he's a great player at a Pitt. He had an early third round grade for me. So if he can get placed on a roster like the Dolphins, where there is just it's no man's land and there is opportunities for everyone to play, to get placed here to get serious minutes, he could be a producer even next year. So to get that in the fourth, to make a starter for your team, I think that's huge.
Okay. I'll
Yep.
move into my fifth round pick. I'm actually adjusting it because there's two guys I see that I really liked in this.
I added another five as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I might rip four on this one and talk about them quick, just because there's
Actually,
there's
I added a six. I added a six.
okay.
Whatever. Yeah. Yeah. Up to you. We
So
can. We
I'll
can.
start off. Nick Singleton.
Wait. Yep. Good pick.
Nick Singleton is another running back from Penn State, and I think they did a really good job with this pick here. I just have to double check with the Titans because the Titans' backfield is very open. Tajay Spears,
Love Tajay.
Tony Pollard, and a lot of people had him going Jeremiah Love. So running back was it's not necessarily a concern, but they wanted to move and get guys that are going to be younger because you don't really want to be paying Pollard again. You
Yeah.
don't really want to be paying Spears again.
I think they wanted him at the four, like pretty bad.
Yeah, no, I thought they were going to go with him, and just to give he's a very good blocking running back. To give Cam Ward some sort of help aside from offensive line help to at least get another blocker in there who's kind of a gadget guy that could kind of line up all over the field. I think it's a really good pick here. Penn State has been known to produce running backs, and there was prior to the season when Penn State was on the map and playing very well. Him and Katron Allen both had very similar values to what Jeremiah Love and Jadavian Price were doing. Very similar value, but prior to the season starting, where they could have been late first guys. I'm not saying either of them have the ability to be Jeremiah Love getting picked third overall because you need to have an absurd season like Jeremiah Love did and just insane intangibles. But yeah, just the two-headed running backs it's a very weird gauge of how to actually rank these guys because you don't really know how they're going to produce. But I think him and a committee there is going to be very helpful for them. And then I will move into the Cowboys pick with Jaden Duggar out of Louisiana. Really like this kid. Very good off the ball linebacker. No, it wasn't the Cowboys pick. I am sorry. That was the Niners pick. Yeah. So the Niners moved on from Dre Greenlaw and they traded him to the Cowboys. And then they found a replacement for him, especially with Fred Warner not always being 100% available and healthy. Getting a guy that can play off-ball linebacker very well is a deed. And you could find really good off-ball linebackers this late in the draft, in the fifth round. This is where a lot of these guys are getting taken and producing. So I think this was a good pick. It was a sensible pick, and it made a lot of sense. And then I have Keith Abney out of Arizona State. I had a much higher grade on him than a fifth rounder. I think I had him as my cornerback. Let me check. On my big board, I had him as my cornerback. What would that be? That would
I remember
be.
talking about Abney when we did corner.
I had him. I had him about 7 or 8, depending if Chris Johnson went earlier. But I was pretty high on him. For him to go to the Lions in the fifth round and get a guy that could play day one. He is a bit raw, but still, the Lions do need defensive help, and I think they need to continue looking for physical guys.
Yeah,
That's a big one. And then another Dolphins pick, Michael Taff out of Texas.
Pick maxing in the fifth. Jesus.
I am pick maxing. I'm talking about him quick though. I'm trying to.
All right. I'm fucking.
I couldn't help myself. I couldn't really decide between a lot of these guys.
Fair.
Yeah, no, I love Michael Taff here. I think I watched him play a lot of ball, and he was a quarterback on that defense. Him and Anthony Hill were the two guys that were pretty recognizable in the Texas defense across the board. But
Serious score.
yeah, to get a guy in the skies that can really play in the box if needed, but he's more of a ball hawk sky guy that you kind of want to keep back there. And the Dolphins need as much help as they get. They got their Swiss Army knife in the last round, but to get a guy that could really just sit back there and really play well with that guy, I think the Dolphins are slotted for a better season than a lot of people think they are.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you that I don't think they're going to be the number one pick next season. I do not know if they're going to escape the top 10, but they're not going to be the number one pick. I'd probably bet on the Cardinals. So That's good. Yeah, we're gonna keep the trend of the similar teams keep popping up that had good drafts because I have two teams that we've already talked about with my fifth round picks. The first pick I want to talk about is Jalen Kilgore going 161 to the Bills. Um, it's a really good pick out of South Carolina. He is going to be a rotational guy at the bare minimum in that Bills secondary. He fills a lot of holes. He's a developmental piece for sure. He's not a guy maybe you play first week, but he has serious potential. He has the physicals of a starting safety in this league for sure. He's a little bit bigger. I believe he's 6'2". He's a thick two. He's not a light 6'2". I like Jalen Kilgore as a eventual producer on the Bills, and once you get to the fifth round, that's all you're really looking for. Not all these guys are going to play week one, but what you're really looking for is guys that can carry you. It would be big to have another safety when injuries start piling up at the end of the year and into the playoffs for the Bills. That's what shot them in the foot for the last couple of years. So to have reinforcements on that secondary is only going to help, especially when you didn't take anyone major earlier on in the draft. Uh, my other pick for the fifth is Justin Joly at NC State to the Broncos. It's a little undersized, but I do like him as that like F back tight end type of role. He could use help with the lead block. He could use help with his lead blocking, but he's a very sound tight end. That's what I will say. He was very productive in college for NC State. He was their safety blanket. He was there. All things are shut down. Give it to him in the flat and go let him get 8 yards. That matters. Bear Pasco is someone that compares to him in my mind. If anyone's familiar with Bear Pasco out there, I'm guessing no. But if you are familiar with Bear Pasco, more of a blocking safety valve type of tight end. Maybe not the best blocker in the world, but a solid blocker. And I do think he could develop. Maybe Jeremy Ruckert of the Jets, another guy that compares to him. And Rucker was a better prospect, but I do like his abilities to be a safety valve for the Broncos, especially when they could use it. Evan Ingram's not going to be around forever. His uber athletic play leads to him probably. I mean, he's already started his fizzle out. No offense to Evan Ingram. I'm not really the biggest fan ever, but whatever. But yeah, I do like those two picks, and I believe, was this where Cole Payton went as well? I kind of like him as a
Yeah.
tool backup for Jalen Hurts. I also don't really get cutting Kyle McCord if you're going to just draft another quarterback in the fifth, the second year in a row. I don't really get that. That doesn't make any sense. But I like him as a prospect. I like his fit with the team, and I think if Jalen Hurts ends up going down, he's a great guy to have, and if not, he could totally get snaps as a. I love the Taysom Hill comp because there's no one else like him. So it's definitely a good other pick in the fifth as well.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I kind of went on a little tangent with my fifth rounders, but there's a
Good boys. We're only at 47 minutes right now. We got all the time in the world.
yeah. No, well, yeah. So I kind of want to. I'll move into my six round picks. My number one was Harold Perkins. This guy before the season started, and there was maybe not even before this season, but even last year, if he declared for the draft, I think there was consideration with him going in the top 32. He did have a regression year at LSU, which is kind of a bad sign because LSU didn't have a horrible season across, by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, just the talent that he brings as a very good edge rusher and the size that he has, this is a very 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 much ceiling floor pick, and to get a guy in the sixth round who does have a ceiling that is
A
really
lot
not.
of guys do. One guy I talk about today will have a big ceiling in the sixth.
And I think I'm going to talk about him next.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, Harold Perkins great. I think he's a great edge rusher. Can play good outside well, and I think he's a guy you keep on the field all the time. If he does end up getting back to the level where people were talking about him in
Yeah.
consideration like that, with being a first round pick, I don't see how. Let me just make sure I get the team right. I'm pretty confident I know where he went.
I do like value on that. Guys that were projected first to go a little bit later. I'm not talking about Carson Beck, but I do like the value of a guy like T.J. Parker, like
Yeah, no, and this is a Falcons pick, and I think this is a great place for the Falcons to go, especially with the concern with JPJ. Like we don't know if he's coming back, when he's coming back. We don't know the any sort of situation with his legal issues and stuff like that. But yeah, to get a guy that's I wouldn't say like a replacement because JPJ did come out and he had a great season, but to get a guy that could possibly fill that role with that ceiling,
If need be.
you can't complain. And the Falcons are known for drafting very good pass rushers, like very, very high end, high ceiling pass rushers, and they don't always pan out, but they do take a lot of chances. And the Falcons' offense is pretty secure as long as quarterback play is solid this year, which is a big if. Yeah, they have two guys that went top 8 in their respective drafts on their roster. So, like, if their quarterback play is up there, I think the Falcons could be a scary team. And the NFC South is wide open.
Yep.
So,
It's a dice roll, and I think they have just as good of chances as any. I think their quarterback situation will be very. I'm just gonna call it interesting because I'm not sure who I would pick to win that job. My gut says Michael Penix,
yeah.
but Tua, he's not a bad quarterback, and they're both lefties, so no one has the righty advantage. It's going to be interesting. A big southpaw battle in Atlanta next year. It's going to be fun. But
Yeah.
all right, I'll
And then
yeah,
I still got my second 6th rounder.
bring her on. Come on.
Taylor Green. I'm not going to talk about him too much because I think you're going to talk about him.
I just
And I
might.
feel like I stole a few guys out from underneath you. The Browns really killed their draft. The weirdest thing is that it did go to the Browns, who are paying multiple quarterbacks on their roster, and they have no clue what they're doing at quarterback.
Quarterback
But
number 4. Number 4.
no, I know, but they were like last season. I think they were paying like insane. They were paying so many
They're
guys.
still
Like
paying Watson. They drafted, which I'll talk
Shador,
about later.
Dillon.
But they drafted Shador. They drafted Dylan Gabriel. This is now a 4th quarterback, and who's the odd man out? I
I don't know.
Seems like it's not
The thing is, Shador and
Tom
Dillon
Watson
both
for
have
some
very
reason.
safe floors. I
I
mean,
think
we did
Gabriel's
watch
the odd man out, honestly.
who?
Gabriel.
Yeah,
Once he got
I think.
Salah, and it was
I think if
over.
any guy's gonna go, it's gonna be him. Just
Once
because like
Shador went after him, it was over.
we did see Dylan play, and he did not play great. And
Sure as
Taylor
hell.
Green has the highest ceiling out of all quarterbacks in this draft.
Mm-hmm.
The intangibles that he has, it reminds me of Tyree Jackson out of Buffalo. How teams were very, very excited about this guy. The mobility's there. He's a great runner. He's got an arm on him. He's giving me a lot of Joe Milton vibes too.
Yep, I see it.
More because of the arm, but yeah, more in that ballpark where the ceiling is really limitless. If he could get his accuracy up and really start being a better pocket passer and not necessarily look to run right away, I think he has a ceiling of, I'm not going to say MVP Cam, but some of Cam's better seasons.
Yeah, I'll hop right into it because he's on my list as well. And he is in the last really ever. I mean, he had probably the best combine testing of any quarterback ever. That says something, physical wise at least. He's 6'6". He jumped the highest. I mean, the farthest broad jump in quarterback history. He ran in the 4.3s. He has. I mean, he's 6'6". He's a beast. He's probably, what is he, 240? Vertical over 40 inches. And it's not just that, but it shows in his tape. His tape is interesting because on one argument, on the one side, you could argue that it's kind of the Arkansas team. It's that they are just outmanned in the SEC. On the other hand, you could say I was his decision making. He's very streaky, and there's a testament to both arguments, and that's why he went late. However, potential-wise, he does have the best potential in this draft by far. I would have taken him. He was my second quarterback. I don't really like Ty Simpson. I think that was a absolutely disgusting pick by the Rams, and don't even get me started on Carson Beck. But, frankly, Drew Lar and Cade Klubnik went over him. That's ridiculous. That is actually insane. But we're not going to get started on that. The reason I love this pick is because of the potential and because of the bailout clause. He has the ceiling, and if you watch his tape, There's one guy, if you know at least relative ball, that he reminds me of. It's Randall Cunningham. He looks like just like Randall Cunningham out there. It's insane. And his floor and his safety clause, which no other player in this draft has, seriously, because of how crazy his physicals are. He has better physicals than Lamar Jackson. He has the buyout clause of Terrell Pryor. If he doesn't pan out at quarterback, you can put him outside and make him play wide receiver. Terrell Pryor went for 1,000 yards. They're not that different of prospects. If anything, he has better physicals than Terrell Pryor. I really love the pick for the Browns. I think it's a great guy to bring in to compete with Shadur. I would probably, I would buy out. I guess it's so much money. I can't believe they paid him this much to start with. But the man should be in jail. Deshaun Watson. He fondled 34 woman. That you can't really do that these days. Well, apparently you can. But it's a great guy to bring in. He would
If it weren't for those meddling kids.
If it weren't for those meddling women who told on him.
Yeah,
But yeah, I really like the pick. I think at his absolute ceiling, he's Randall Cunningham, and at his floor, he's a wide receiver like Terrell Pryor, which no other player in this draft has the buyout clause, which is a very funky thing that very rare players even have. Literally,
yeah.
who was the last guy that had the buyout clause? Logan Thomas, who played tight end.
Yeah, Logan Thomas,
Probably LT.
Dale Pryor. I'm trying to think of a few guys right now, but those are like the main ones that
These
came
guys
to
that give like tool use on offense,
Yeah.
like fullback and stuff, but like real starting level buyout clauses. But Taylor Green's got that. There is no doubt in my mind he could be a product. He's built like Megatron. He has better physicals than Megatron. It's crazy. Like I don't. Who does he compare to? He has
who
better
I'm surprised?
physicals
You know
than
what quarterback I'm very surprised did not get drafted?
Diego Pavia.
Haynes King.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. No, like for the Jets to take,
I would take Haynes King over
well, I would take him over Klubnik and Aller.
Haynes King's just a different version of Riley Leonard. They're just kind of different fronts.
Yeah.
I
No,
think I
and
like
like,
Haynes King's physicality more. He'll put his head into a motherfucker.
yeah. So Riley
So
though.
will Riley. So I'm not no disrespect.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. So
keep
the
going.
second.
All right, and my second player in the sixth round was Jack Kelly. He went number 193 to the Giants.
JKL.
Yeah, he was a first team All American last year. J. Kel, baby. Shout out. Shout out. J. Kel 21. But yeah, he was a beast at BYU last year. He doesn't have the raw physicals that a guy like TJ Hill has, but he's not that different. Just because our contexts were different doesn't mean he is actually that different of a prospect from Jacob Rodriguez. He was a two-time captain at BYU. He plays the same type of quarterback role. And to get him in the sixth round, yeah, he's lacking those pure physical traits of a, first-round grade, especially at the linebacker position. But to get a sixth-round value on a guy that fills in with any of those linebackers, I don't think he's that far behind any other backer in this draft. At the sixth round, it's a great pick, and just to get a leader and a locker room guy, and you know what? It's the sixth round. If you're drafting special teams guys and gunners, Jack Kelly will knock a motherfucker out on kickoff. Like I don't doubt. Like that's why I love this pick, because at the end of the day, he can be a special teams guy, and you're totally happy with a sixth rounder. And
Yeah.
at his best, he could be a rotational linebacker. There's nothing that tells me Micah McFadden's better than Jack Kelly.
Yeah.
There's not. So
No, and I really did like this pick from the Giants. I thought it was a smart pick.
I like the tackling
He,
pick as well from Illinois.
he is a leader, but the
Davis.
thing is, like a lot of teams are looking for more like that hybrid linebacker who's able to drop in pass coverage, a guy that they're able to keep on the field, and he's more of a thumper. You want him in between the tackles, lighting up
He's a
your
third
running
and
back.
short guy. He's a third and short.
Yeah, like
Okay, he's a six
if
rounder.
honestly, there's not many guys I really think meeting him in the hole are going to be too happy seeing him. I think they'd much rather see like a
Man, I love
honestly.
him and Scat on the same team is so fun.
Oh,
They're gonna be booming in practice. They're gonna kill
yeah,
each other.
they're gonna be concussed by
He might that's a reason why he might stand out on this team. That of his
yeah, because
not
he
getting
might be able to stand up scat, and like I feel like the Giants did a really good job just going for physicality. I feel like that's their approach, is that we're just gonna outman you. We're gonna have bigger dudes.
Big
Arvell
things coming,
Reed's
man.
huge dude, Francis Maui Noah. Like even
Big.
like though Ione was there, Maui Noah is a
He's a hog molly. He's
he's a
aggressive.
massive human being.
And he's very athletic. You know what? I just because I love Ione doesn't mean that I don't like the Mawaga pick. I thought, or Maui Noah, I thought he was going to be gone by 10 anyway, and I
Yeah,
still like the pick. I gave it a B, but like in the end of the day, draft grades when the draft concludes don't matter. They don't. They just
yeah,
don't matter.
no, no, no.
Despite, despite that we spent 2 hours on it, they don't really matter. So
yeah,
I still like the guy.
no,
I'm very
and
excited. But
I feel like a good off season topic for us is us reviewing like 2020
yeah,
draft, 2021 drafts,
we're
and
gonna do
seeing
some
where those guys are now, especially the guys that are going into their contract year and stuff like that. I should put down the bottle openers.
yeah, no, that's okay. I would love some actual like. Ugh, I'm not sure if anyone will be listening. Usually we get decent feedback, but I would love to be able to put something out and see what people want, whether it's to kind of have a fantasy focus for the summer, get into different sports, or go back in time. So redrafts, um, top 10 lists of DNs, middle linebackers. We want to do fullbacks, wide receivers. Then we could do specific guys. You could do receiving tight ends. You could do top 10 blocking tight ends. Would be disgustingly fun. That would be so
Yeah,
fun.
we would
Like,
have so much fun doing that.
oh my god, like yeah, it would be great. I think Kittle would be pretty high for both of us.
It
Hog Molly,
depends.
Hog
It
Molly.
really depends. The thing is with Kittle is he's both. He does both
Yeah,
very, very well. But like if you look at like tight ends 10 years ago,
yeah, it's true.
just his size there
Penning
is.
couldn't block for shit. Yeah.
Yeah, no. And Delaney Walker was not a guy you wanted to line up.
Delaney Walker was like our size. No, you
Yeah,
don't
he's
want
like
Delaney. Delaney Walker was listed at 5'11". You do not want Delaney Walker. Like I love us, but I would not pick me to play tight end in the NFL. No, I would not.
yeah.
I mean, he's a little bigger than us, but frankly, like nah.
Yeah, we could get up in that size.
We're
Wouldn't be
fullback.
pretty. Yeah, it wouldn't look like how Delaney Walker looked, but we could
I
definitely get that
I,
size.
I could have back in the day. I could have. I'm not gonna say Kyle Juszczyk it. If I gained 50 pounds, I could have maybe been Mike Tolbert. I feel confident about that one. If I ballooned up to like 270, I could have been Mike Tolbert. We'll give it that.
Yeah, and I think also like how you're saying like possibly doing like receiving backs or
Yeah,
receiving
fun
ends or
list
something
select.
like that. I think also doing errors like best of the 2010s. I
Yeah.
think that'd be fun.
Ooh, making like errors lists would be fun.
Yeah,
Doing like all 2000s, making like a redo and like drafting our
yeah,
guys. That'd be a lot of fun.
yeah. No, I
But should
think
we
doing redrafts.
go out to the seventh?
Yeah, we'll move into the seventh.
Yeah, sure.
So
Like,
I'll
if you
start off with my two picks. I'm gonna keep it at two because I did get a little aggressive fifth. My number one guy is Garrett Nussmeier.
mm,
I'm very high on him. I had him as my quarterback three this year, and similar. I it went now. I had him as my I'd say quarterback four, quarterback five, depending on where you want to put him. Three was a little high. I forgot about Ty Simpson, but yeah.
yeah.
So I would have went
I,
Mendoza
I love
three.
Nuss. I love Nuss to develop. I mean, he was a guy that same type of thing where he was a first
Yeah,
round,
he had like some.
high first round too.
He had like a back issue throughout the season that apparently is completely figured out, and I could see him out competing Justin
Patrick
Fields
Mahomes. He could beat up Patrick Mahomes for the starting job.
possibly. You never know.
You never know. I love him developing with Patty. That's for sure.
Yeah, yeah, and I think I might have more faith in him than Justin Fields going into that season. Like you saw what Riley Leonard did towards the end of the season when Philip Rivers was
Hmm.
doing his work and trying to make that playoff push. But I think Riley Leonard still produced very well, and I think taking a guy this late at pick 249, I think does have real value for the Chiefs right now. And it could be a similar situation where he's walking into that role and gets 6 starts at the beginning of the season. Don't forget, like before the season started, there was talks about him going number one. Before,
Yep.
like, and he just did not have a great season, and a lot. And what I'm hearing is he did have a lot of injury, like he did have a lower back injury or something along those lines, where it was impacting his play. So if that's all healed up, this guy would have been a first round pick. I think he would have gone ahead of Simpson if he was completely healthy.
Yeah, if he had the season he could have had, I could have seen him being.
Yeah, and I think that's a big thing with like Cade Klubnik too. But he was not hurt; he was just
No,
ass.
I'd say Drew Alar. Drew Alar was one of those guys that if he had the season people
Yeah,
thought Alar was going to have, and Penn State went to the Natty or did whatever, he could have been a number one. He could have been sitting where Mendoza is right now. That I don't doubt because I don't. Alar is very similar
yeah,
uh, to what's his name, Cade Klubnik, in that he's really not great at playing quarterback, but he has fantastic physical attributes. He does have the potential. He has the physicals on paper to be a fantastic NFL quarterback. He just doesn't know how to play quarterback. But
yeah.
Garrett Nussbaum knows how to play quarterback. He does. I mean, he's not a fantastic decision maker, but he's okay.
He's very. I really do like him, and if he's coming back healthy, I think he's up there. I think he's a
Yeah.
top four guy in this draft
I
or
don't
top
know
five
how.
guy.
How did Cade Klubnik go over him? Cade is horrible. Cade
Yeah,
is so bad at quarterback.
honestly, I had him at
I would
yeah
have picked
behind
Pavia over.
behind Green, Mendoza, and Simpson.
I would have picked Sawyer Robertson in a heartbeat over
I
him.
love Sawyer
I
Robertson.
love Sawyer
I was
Robertson.
on the Sawyer Robinson Heisman hype train for
Love that.
so long. I
Love it.
love Sawyer Robertson,
Love
and
it.
I'm gonna throw in one more like
Hmm.
undrafted players. I
What is
think we
it?
could do a round of undrafted players because
Ah,
we
it's
do.
fun. Yeah.
And then my last guy that I want to talk about is Eli Heidenrich. I believe
Hmm.
I'm saying that right. But
Maybe, baby.
yeah, the thing is, Navy
Maybe
has
saying that.
had Navy and Army both have had good seasons, and I think he was Navy's all-time receiving leader, which is very
16
odd.
touchdowns last season receiving, I
Yeah,
believe. Crazy.
yeah. I have his stats
Out of
pulled up. Right?
Navy? Ew. Ew, out of Navy?
Yeah, he had three rushing,
Or
five,
armed
five
forces? Our
receiving.
nation's armed forces? If I hope
Yeah,
everyone's seen the clip of him getting drafted. It's fantastic.
yeah. No, it's
In
wonderful.
Pittsburgh,
And
he's in his full uniform. It's so peak. It really is.
yeah, and I think
Dreams
I
come true,
really
baby.
do. I really do think he is going to be a valuable guy on that team, like a good wide receiver
100%.
three for them.
What a
Um,
what a pass blocking running back. Oh my
yeah,
God. You don't have to
yeah,
worry about
and,
it.
and the Steelers don't have the best receiving room. I think they have one of the worst in the league, in my opinion. Like I really do not love their receiving room, but to get a guy and Roman Wilson's not panning out like he was intended to. Um, I think this guy could easily slot in as a wide receiver three on that team, and losing Calvin Austin too. I almost forgot about. But yeah, I think he could slide in as a wide receiver three
Hmm.
on the and to get a wide receiver three
Yeah.
in the seventh round is great and really really good football. And
Hmm.
this guy did play some really good football, and Navy is like a really good. They're in a good conference, a very competitive conference,
Hmm.
and they
Oh, for
always
sure.
and they're producing guys now.
Yeah, I
There's a lot of
agree. Yeah, with
respect.
new laws for them to go pursue NFL pursuits, it's very awesome. And
Yeah,
if anyone remembers Cordell Patterson in that Pittsburgh offense, that's what he reminds me of. A guy that can
yeah,
kick, he's an excellent kick returner, or I at least see the potential to be a fantastic kick returner. He can take end arounds, and he can even run the backfield if you need him to. He could play slot. He reminds me of Cordell Patterson, which is funny because I wouldn't. You don't think you'd say that about a Navy guy, but he really does. I like that
okay.
pick.
I'll let you go
Anyone
into
else?
yours.
Anyone else you have before I get it going?
No, I'll do undrafted after.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll talk about it undrafted as well. But so seventh round, there's of course you could go with, the Richard Shermans, the guys that, there's a chance they develop into a fantastic player. But I went with two rock solid players that can make immediate impacts. I feel like that matters in the seventh as well. My first player is Jam Miller, running back out of Alabama that went to the Patriots. He's a familiar name for some. He lacks the pure pop potential of a guy that's drafted higher. There's a reason why he was taken in the seventh. But I love his physicality. I love his size at the NFL position. He's 5'10", like 220. He's a great. I really think he's in a great spot to take over the Ramondre Stevenson role eventually. I'm not maybe not this season even. I think uh, he could make his impact felt on punt return this season. I think he's a pretty underrated punt returner, or he has the shift ability to be. But I really do like his potential to take over the Ramondre Stevenson role, to be a short yardage back, be the Knuckles to Travion Henderson's Sonic. And the second player I'd want to talk about was Mr. Irrelevant himself. That is Red Murdoch from UB. Go Buffalo. And go Buffalo. I really thought that he was going to be a fifth rounder this year, a sixth rounder. He was similar to Dolak last year, but he has the better physicals. He's about 6'2". He was pretty fast. I think he was in the 4.5s. And he was uber productive at Buffalo, of course. Another MAC guy, an extremely productive draft for the MAC this year. Plenty of guys.
Yeah, Matt got a lot of recognition this year, and I think
And
they.
I love it. It's real football, and Murdoch's a beast. I think he can, at the bare minimum, be a special teams ace for this team. That's where he can find his groove on a team that's going to be competing for a Super Bowl this year. That's huge for a seventh rounder. He reminds me a little bit another Mr. Irrelevant of Tay Crowder, a guy that was an impact player on the Giants, and maybe it's a little easy to make that comp because he was also the last pick in the draft. But I do see the ability to make an impact wherever needed on the field. He can be a replacement linebacker where it's needed if a guy's hurt, or he can play in specific schemes, or he can just be a guy that makes his impact felt on specials. And for a seventh rounder, that matters. But yeah, do you have any undrafted guys you want to
Well,
talk about?
I pulled up a list of undrafted guys just to make sure I didn't miss anyone. I have two guys I want to mention, but there was a clip, and the clip says which quarterback should start first: Drew Aller, Carson Beck, Cade Klubnik. I want to hear your take on
Aller,
this.
I'd say.
Yeah,
It's Aller.
I
It's Drew
think
Aller. Yeah, I mean
I'm
Carson
going
Beck
Carson Beck.
has probably the highest floor out of those guys.
Yeah,
I like. I just
I
think
like
he's the best
realistically, I
prospect out
think
of all those
I,
guys.
I think Carson Beck is going to probably win the job in Arizona at some point, and Arizona is going to have a bad season no matter who's playing quarterback because it is a dumpster fire. But the thing is, they're trying to get fans in seats. Like that is one of the emptiest stadiums in the NFL. They need something to be excited about. So I think he will start first. I don't think any of these guys should really be starting at any point in their NFL careers. But
Yeah.
yeah, I have more faith in Carson Beck. And the thing is, Drew Aller might have the intangibles. Same thing with Kay Klubnik. They might have the intangibles, but the thing is with Carson Beck is you would prefer a guy that has a safer floor at this position than one of these guys who could pop. And the thing is, we won't know that they pop until they do. And I don't think it's going to happen this season because even though Drew Aller got taken in the third round, I still think there is a ton of value in Will Howard. I still believe in Will Howard. I think he is one of
Yeah.
those guys who can win that. I think he might win that job if A-Rod's not there.
I mean, I still believe in
And
Zach Mettenberger, but it doesn't really matter. But
I still believe in Charlie White, but
I do. I do. I really do. I still believe,
yeah,
and he got kicked out of town, but I still believe in Kellen Mond.
I love Kellen.
I do believe in him.
Still believe in the Pasternak.
Oh God. But yeah.
Anyways,
Hmm.
yeah, I'll go through two guys that I am really excited to see. Even though like undrafted, but I'd really, really want to see them play and produce. I mentioned Haynes King, but he's not the quarterback I want to talk about. Joe Finano.
Oh, the
Yeah,
Yukon prospect.
I love UConn. I think Skylar Bell does attribute a lot of his success to this
Yeah.
guy, and I
He's
watched him
unsigned
play.
already. I'm only going to talk about guys that signed, I have to admit. But
Oh, you're just okay.
it doesn't matter. We're just
Yeah,
talking.
I
But
would love to see him get signed, but also at the same time, I think Haynes King. He's possibly going to the Panthers. I don't know. There's a lot of guys I do like a lot. I really like Miller Moss a lot. Um,
yeah, fair.
and yeah, honestly, I'm looking at all the quarterbacks right now. I think the best chance of someone starting out of any of these guys, Luke Altmaier out of Illinois. Apparently, I have him signed to Detroit right now to the practice squad. I don't know how many more years we got out of Jared Goff left, and he might have a real regression year. So I could see him filling in that role, especially Detroit needs to be competitive to really keep Dan Campbell's job. Because they did have a really good pop, but, like eventually it's really getting like they had a real
I
tough
agree.
decrease
Yeah,
across the
and
board.
the way they draft, I'm happy
And
they
then
had a
the
good
second,
draft.
yeah, no, they had a very good draft, but
They
also
always
at the
draft
same
kind of
time, like
funky,
they
so I'm
did,
happy they. Yeah, they still have
yeah,
picks.
like even like Jameer Gibbs and Jack Campbell, like they drafted them the same year. No one expected, like everyone was like they reached on both of those
Yeah,
aggressively.
agree.
Jameer Gibbs was not up there with that guy, and they did lose their like coordinators.
Mhm.
Like they unfortunately cleaned house with Ben
Yeah.
Johnson and
This is
Aaron
a
Glenn,
make
I
or break
believe.
year, whether they're going to descend to the bottom of the NFC or they're going to come back and be a contender again. This is a real make or break year.
Yeah, and then my number two undrafted guy. So I guess my number one would be Haynes King. He killed it at Georgia Tech, and I really have hopes for him. Especially Bryce Young might not be the answer, and he could easily slot into that role and produce. Very Riley Leonard esque, and I think we need more guys in the NFL that are going to bury their heads a little bit. So my skill position guy is going to be Michael Trigg out of Baylor.
Yep, great pick by
Yeah,
the Cowboys. Great.
he he is unbelievable. Like he's
Should have been
about
should have been a drafted guy. Probably sixth round. I had him.
yeah. I had him like going around fifth or sixth somewhere in that ballpark. I was very high on this guy. I even had him in my fourth for a little bit, but yeah, no, just a big body contested catch guy, and his tape is so fun to watch.
Yeah,
I think pairing him with Jake Ferguson and the rest of that Cowboys
yeah,
team, I think it's going to be a really good fit there.
I agree.
And I'm very excited to watch him hopefully produce for the Cowboys.
Yeah, anytime you can sign a guy undrafted that can be a producer, even in year one, it's unbelievable. So what a great signing. But yeah, I'm gonna talk about two guys that already signed, and I don't believe Sawyer Robertson signed yet, so I'll stay away from him. But
Yeah, I don't think so either. Let me
I had
check.
him as I believe my fifth quarterback on my big board,
Yeah,
probably behind. Um, yeah, my top six probably went Mendoza, and I never technically wrote it down, but Mendoza, Kalen Green, Ty Simpson, Garrett Nussmeier, Sawyer Robertson, Drew Alar. Those probably my number. That was probably my one through six. Speaking of, I also now that I mentioned Penn State, I never talked about in the sixth round number pick 187, I believe, to the Commanders. Katron Allen, what a great pick! Genuinely a threat to Bill. He could be their number one alpha running back. I wouldn't be surprised. He's a beast. He's humongous. He's 6'2". He's got Derrick Henry size, and not saying he's Derrick Henry because I like Katron Allen. He can be producer. I'm not. I'm not calling him Derrick Henry. I'm just saying he has the physicals and he has the production. I mean, maybe not Derrick Henry Heisman production, but he does have production. So I really like Katron Allen. But my two undrafted guys I'll talk about. First, it's all right. First off, I'll go with Jamari Taylor out of Virginia. He was signed by the Jaguars. Super, super fast, super athletic, crazy acceleration, super twitch. I really liked Jamari Taylor. He was a beast in Virginia last year. They were a contender for the playoff, and it was mainly because of him. Him going to the Jaguars in a pretty open offense gives him the opportunity to make a roster, and this is what you're looking at as an undrafted guy. You're hoping to make the roster, and it's tough to look through and see many guys that are almost locks to make the roster, but I feel really good about him being a Jaguar next year. His only competition is by Shaltuden and
Quinn Allen.
LeQuint, yeah. And him and LeQuint are very similar guys, actually. I think he's a little bit better of a pure runner than LeQuint is, but LeQuint obviously he's one of the best receiving backs in the NFL. It's one of the least known secrets out there in the NFL, but LeQuint is a dog. So he's going to have an opportunity to get rotational reps with the Jags next year. That's big, returning kicks, all that fun stuff. And then my second is Eric O'Neill from Rutgers going to Detroit. He was a producer at Rutgers. He's got the physicality, and I played with him my freshman year at Long Island University. Eric was in the same class as me. We're both class of 2021, and I'm in graduate school and I record a podcast in my free time, and he's signed with the Lions. So congratulations, Eric. Seriously, but he does have the pure physicals to be a disruptor. I'm pretty confident in him making the Lions next year, and he can be a rotational D end. He has strength, is probably his best trait that shows up on the film. But you watch the JMU, I believe it was the JMU bowl game last year. He just had an absolute freak game, and he pulled out the bow and arrow celebration. It was all over Sports Center, and he's he's got a motor. He's a pretty decent athletic freak, and I feel comfortable about him making the Lions roster next season. So big ups, Eric.
Okay. I think that
Yeah.
concludes
Do we
our,
got anything we want to talk about before we
our
call
review on
it?
the draft. We do winners and losers. We definitely went through this a bit quicker. I think we just alternate back and forth.
Yeah, sure.
Or honestly, we could just
We'll
go
just talk
down the.
about it. I
Yeah,
think my loser of the draft is it's between the Rams and who else do I want to say? I don't know. There's a couple teams out there that I think had like just pretty bad drafts. Probably the
yeah,
Cardinals. I don't know. Probably between the Rams and the Cardinals. The Rams, it's a lot because of their 13th pick. I just think if you're a buy-in team, that this is your Super Bowl chance this year. It's not no other year. It takes a lot to get there, and you draft a developmental quarterback without any of the real developmental traits you look for at number 13. That alone can completely tank your draft. That's why they're in that group, and I think the Cardinals did a lot, but they didn't address their main needs at linemen, and it is going to be whatever quarterback, like we talked about, running for his life out there next year. So those are two of
yeah,
my.
yeah. No, I agree with the Rams on the loser. I'm looking through their picks, and they did not have a ton. The only
They
pick I
drafted a tight end late. I didn't love their
well,
tight end they
I,
picked
I I
anyway.
like Max Clare a lot, but like they already have a very crowded tight end room.
Yeah,
None of these guys are really that amazing. You
nobody
got
that good. That's the problem. It's all just a bunch
yeah,
of
no,
mid tight
all of
ends.
them are about the same. And then you had another guy that's about the same. You got Davis Allen out of Clemson a couple years ago. He produced decently. Higby, Ferguson, Terrence Ferguson, and Colby Parkinson. Yeah, like these guys are all about on the same level, and to add a
They're
fifth
all on the
guy in
same
that
time
spot,
level. They're
add a
cookie.
fifth guy in that spot who I mean potentially could take the lead, but still, like I do like Max Clare. I just don't think it was a great fit, and especially there were guys there. And then Keegan Trost out of Missouri being their third round pick. They do need offensive line help, and they should have addressed it in at pick. God, at pick 13, they could have got Iannone. Like seriously, he could have gotten a stud there, and maybe even trade out of that pick and trade back and grab one of like the
Do
guys.
whatever you want with it, but they took a developmental quarterback.
Yeah, no, I and like Proctor getting taken there, like and even the way that McVay really talks about Ty Simpson does not really give a good indication of his confidence in him. There are
Talks
a
about
lot
him
of
like he's the same as Stetson Bennett, and they're not that different. They're not that
yeah.
different.
Yeah,
Like
I think
genuinely.
I am higher on Simpson than Stetson Bennett coming out. And
Yeah, but
granted, I mean he was a first round pick, and
but
Bennett was a fourth rounder. But still, like when you're throwing to guys that are 5-star guys, they're gonna be open.
yeah.
Doesn't matter. Like Ryan Williams barely saw the ball this season, and they still had another receiver get taken in the second.
Well, at least they had the same. They had just about the same quality of rosters. One won two natties, and one didn't.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, granted, Georgia might have had a better roster.
Okay, yeah, maybe. Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, I'll
But
concede. I'll concede.
but we don't talk about that Georgia offense. We talk about how good that Georgia defense was. That
The
that's
offense
kind of
was it was a great offense though, for sure.
it was a very good offense, and they did have a bunch of guys. I mean, Bowers was really their main offensive weapon that was most notable. But yeah, no, I think the Rams really didn't do a great job. I'm not a huge fan of what the Cardinals did either. I might have the Jags up here.
Yeah,
I really
I
do.
can see
I
that.
really do think I go with the Jaguars as my
They just didn't
second
have a
loser.
first. I didn't like hate their draft, but.
Yeah, for some reason I'm on the Titans right now. I just want to go through their draft, but to not have a first, the only thing that really saved them was the Pregnon pick late, and that was the bet, like by far their best pick.
That probably saves
But
it.
they went with the tight end from A&M in the second round. I was higher on Max Clare when instead of Nate Borderkreischer out of A&M. I don't know. It's a lot of teams drafting tight ends really early. They actually went with another A&M guy, a D tackle, but Pregnon was their best pick by far. And granted, if they drafted him instead of the tight end in the second round at pick 56, I think I would have been more willing. And then they drafted a few other guys late that weren't really too
Yeah.
noticeable that I really cared about. They took two wide receivers, but the Jags are in that weird position where they're either like this year they had a really good season, but next year I could easily see them picking in the top five again.
Yep.
Like that's the thing with the Jaguars; it's really dependent upon how Trevor Lawrence plays, and
Yeah. I like Liam Cohen. I hope that he brings some stability to that team, but it's
yeah.
not a guarantee.
But we've also seen this before, like even with the Giants and Dable, like he came there like year one, and kind of like, and even Vrabel this year, like just being able to be consistent throughout is very difficult. But having a 1 year wonder is really nothing to hold your head up too high about. And then they got bounced in the first round at a home playoff game. Granted, they were playing the Bills, which is a tough matchup, but
I mean,
still,
Vrabel's a little busy. He's got a brisket smoking in the oven. He's got some shit to attend. He's got some shit to attend to. But
yeah.
yeesh.
Yeah, so they were those were probably my and the Cardinals included, but you talked about them, and I just really don't like what they're doing. They're just trying to get people in seats, but they didn't address any issues. Like to give your team skill guys and not an offensive line and really a great defense. And you got the third overall pick and Arvell Reese is on the board. Come on.
Because the problem is
Seriously?
they had skill players before this. They
Yeah.
had productive fantasy players all over that roster last season.
Yeah, Trey
Outside of
McBride, Marvin Harrison Jr. is still solid. And even Trey Benson he got a lot of hype, but he did
Michael
not.
Wilson was a league winner last year. Everyone remembers
Yeah,
that.
no, and even like getting Algier, like
Yeah.
why would you take a running back there? It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I don't really understand it. That
Yeah,
running back room is so
so we'll
crowded.
move into our winners because that was a pretty negative segment.
Yeah.
um,
I'd
we'll
say
move
my
into this.
first winner would be I don't know. I'll go down a little bit of a list and we can talk about them and whatever. But the Browns had a great draft. I think the Cowboys had a great draft. I'd say the Giants are right before that group. I don't think they have one of the best drafts. I wouldn't call them an outright winner, but I do like what they did in this draft. And then we talked about the Dolphins. They had a volume of picks, I believe 11 maybe, somewhere up there. And that allowed them to make a lot of high upside picks, guys that could make a difference. I'd say the Ravens were one of my winners as well. I like how they filled a lot of their holes.
And to get Zion Young that late in the second when we were like super high on him, I'm
Yeah,
epic.
I love the Ione and then the Zion Young. That's what a great 1-2 flip. Maybe my
Yeah,
favorite 1-2 flip for the value in the draft. Just
yeah,
because 14 and then 45, like seriously,
yeah,
that's crazy.
yeah. No, and
Two great
Ra-
players.
the Ravens are in a spot where they need guys that are like pro ready, going to produce because they do have a window. They are in a window.
Yeah.
It's really dependent on how long Derrick Henry can be in the league.
Hmm.
Granted, Lamar is still MVP caliber, but like without Derrick Henry, that team is a lot different.
Yeah.
Maybe they do find a running back replacement at some point. And I'm not a huge Gus Edwards fan, but I do like how he runs the ball.
Yeah. I don't know if they think this is the solution either.
Yeah, no, I don't. I don't think they think that as well. But yeah, as one of my winners, I have the Buffalo Bills, and I was not 100% sold on what they did in the offseason, but they addressed all their issues in the draft
Hmm.
very well. Like drafted a ton of guys to replace the guys that they lost, and to get T.J. Parker to trade back and get T.J. Parker at 35 instead of picking him at 26
Yeah.
to get more picks out of that is huge. Because like if that's
Yeah.
the guy you want, and you were able to get him at 35, he shouldn't have been at 35. I
Yeah.
really
Like I
think.
talked about it, I love the Kilgore pick. He shows up
Yeah,
he can make a pretty immediate impact. I love that at safety.
yeah, and even getting the Ohio
Trey
State
Bell's
corner.
huge. Um,
Yeah, second rounder getting like getting a corner from Ohio State who's played some elite ball. It's great. Like I'm really excited about what the Bills are doing. And I mentioned Skylar Bell, and I think he could be a Shakir replacement. And
Frankly, that whole division drafted pretty well. I mean, I think the Jets probably had the worst draft out of all those four teams. The Jets did not have a bad draft. I would put
no,
the
they didn't. They didn't
top
have a bad draft. The
team of the
thing is
draft.
that they just did
But
not pick. They
Jets are
didn't.
gonna
They
be
didn't.
Jets.
They
Jets gonna be
didn't.
Jets. I don't
They
know.
didn't pick intelligently. I put them at the medium.
Jet going
Where I
Jet.
was, yeah. So I have the Bills, Cowboys, Dolphins, like
I
Browns.
think
Those
the
are like
Patriots even had a decent draft. I
the
like
Patriots did
Lomu.
a really good
I
job
like
just kind of sitting.
Gabe Jacas. Gabe Jacas. I don't know.
Yeah, Gabe Jacobs. That's what I call.
He's really good. I like that to fill it.
Yeah, I like
But
Eli Radion
Mhm.
out of Notre Dame. I I'm Notre Dame biased, but I really to see
Okay.
him go to the Pats really put a smile on my face when I saw that.
So like you said, nobody this year.
Yeah,
Yay!
we love Q's. Yeah, I think
Yay!
the Pats did pretty.
Our best prospect was Dan Villari. Shout out
Yeah,
Plainview.
I'll
Woo!
blame you. Yeah, I think the Pats had a good draft. They a lot of teams that just kind of sat and didn't trade up. I think they did a very good job, or traded back. I think did a better job. But also, Heinz, like this is also forecasting. We could be looking at this 5 years from now, saying that the Bills had the worst draft in the class. You know.
Yeah. Hey,
Um,
all
but
right. All right. So, do you want to talk about what we're thinking for our next pod? Should we brainstorm while we have everybody here?
yeah, we could brainstorm. Yeah, because we could talk about like winners and losers like consistently. But yeah, it's kind
Yeah,
of
we could talk till the cows come home about the NFL draft, but we've had a few weeks on it. I think it's time to look forward to the future. That's what I'm thinking.
yeah. Let's forecast a few things. I
Yeah.
think I think we like the approach alternating between college and NFL.
Yep.
The draft was like a weird middle ground where it meets both our favorite interests. But yeah, I definitely like the idea of alternating between the two and not really fixating on one over the other. Um,
Perhaps an NBA playoff episode somewhere within.
yeah, that might fall into it. I actually do have to see what my parlay is doing right now.
Yeah.
But
The Lakers start soon. Very excited for
yeah,
that.
I'm so convinced Lakers in five that I went Rockets tonight.
Nah, I picked a Spurs money line, which hit, and then I got Lakers money line and Braun triple double. And that's kind of a long shot, but I like the odds. I mean, 5 for 75. That's cool.
Yeah, how are the Celts doing?
Let me check actually. I know we got
The Canadians are tied 0-0. I have them beating the Lightning tonight. And check on the
they're up
Celts.
18 and a half. All right, that game's over. The Celtics probably
Okay.
will not
Yeah,
give up
so
that
that
lead. They
should
look
be
really
a win. That should
Mhm.
be a win as long
We
as the
can start.
Canadians can pull it out for me.
Yeah, Lakers should finish
If they,
off.
okay.
I feel good about that. I put in every single person, whether it was Pods or ESPN or whoever. Everyone was saying the Lakers were going to lose in the first round, and they were paying it plus 560. I kept saying that that's not going to happen because we have much better vibes than the Rockets, and I placed a bet, and now look what happened. So I win. Everyone else sucks.
Yeah. No, if I can make it to my last two legs, I will be a very happy camper. I was out yesterday on the Wild and
Okay.
Stars. I bet on the
I don't
Stars.
enjoy when people doubt LeBron because that's not smart.
It's
It's
Bon.
it's not. It's
He
just
really
not smart. Like
he
don't
really
bet on LeBron. I don't recommend that, but don't bet against LeBron. That's a horrible idea.
yeah, we really hit the FU3 to tie the game last
Yeah,
week.
and that was interesting because usually
Yeah.
when he hesitates like that, it's a miss. But he green beaned that motherfucker. I mean that was tough. And then he could have hit the shot to win the game. I mean off 1 foot is a tough shot, but it rimmed out. It wasn't like it was an air ball or nothing. So I feel
Yeah,
good about the
no.
Lakers moving forward. If anyone, I'll do a quick couple segments. I'll do a quick couple seconds on the Lakers because I don't think I've talked about the Lakers on this podcast, but I'm a big Lakers fan. And the season forecast looking into the playoffs was a little bleak, I will admit, but players have stepped up that I expected to step up. A guy that's now a veteran, a championship veteran in Marcus Smart.
Yeah, he
He's
pulled out.
Yeah, I mean, Defensive Player of the Year, Luke Kennard, one of the best shooters in the NBA and one of the best shooters of all time, just statistics alone, percentages wise. I love that. Our big men suck, and thank God the Rockets don't have a legitimate big man. Alperen Sengun's a sorry excuse for Jokic. And DeAndre Ayton has no basketball IQ. I swear he has the IQ of like a gray squirrel. It's actually pretty funny. But Jackson Hayes, he's not the stupidest guy out there, but he runs around like a baby giraffe, so it's almost worse. But they're both good. I like Bronny getting minutes, and the outlook looking forward into the second round once we finish up this series looks great because AR is, I believe, expected to play tonight, which would be fun. And then once Luka's back full speed, I'm not saying we're gonna beat the Thunder, but I think we can take it to 6 or 7 games. 6, 7. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah. Yeah, I just thought of this idea. I saw another podcast do this idea the other day. I don't know if you want to do it right now, but best outlook for rookie fantasy players this year.
You want to just do one at each position?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
like
And then we can
yeah, I
finish
was
up
thinking
one at
top
each
10, but
position.
yeah, we go one at each
Oh yeah,
position.
I think we could talk about that like doing an actual episode on like rookie
Yeah,
fantasy outlooks, but
yeah.
we'll discuss. But yeah, quarterback. I think we're not going to talk about.
Quarterback, running back, same. Let's go for the number two guys. Let's go for who we think are going to be number two, because number one and number two for running backs are going to be
Yeah.
Mendoza and Love.
hmm my number two quarterback's probably Carson Beck next year. I'd love to say Taylon Green, but I don't see him getting much minutes in the Browns offense this year just because they're such a shit show, and I think they want to run Deshaun. And if he's ever starting, put Taylon Green in. I
Yeah,
think it's a good start, but like pure total fantasy points outlook, possibly even a low level starter, Carson Beck would be interesting in that absolutely loaded Cardinals offense. Despite all the sacks he may take, that offense is loaded, so I would feel pretty good about running him out there. And then at running back, I'd say it's tough. Probably, probably Jadarian Price actually.
yeah, that's
It's
why I
between
too.
him and Katron for me, but I just love his ability to take over the K9 role, and I fear Katron Allen may not be used correctly in his first year. I fear they might just use him as like a contact goal line back, when in reality I think he is just a better Zach Charbonnet.
Yeah, I think he's gonna. I think Katron's gonna fill that more Chris Rodriguez role from last year.
You know, I could see that, but
Yeah,
I do. Yeah, that's where I'm at. What about you?
I have the same thing with Jadavion Price. I think he's going to produce, especially Charbonnet's return is not guaranteed. There's not really a set timeline. I don't know when he's coming back exactly. So I think if Price is hot going into the season, and granted, Seattle did lose their coordinator, they lost some guys, but their offense is remotely retained. Yeah, I think JSN might have. I don't think he's going to have the same season as he did last year, and I think he's going to get picked very, very high. But
Yeah.
yeah, no. So at running back, I have Price. Just the intangibles alone,
What
he's
about
a
quarterback? What do you got?
quarterback.
You Carson?
I don't want to, but that makes the most
Yeah,
logical
that's the only
sense.
one. Maybe Drew Alar,
Maybe,
but I don't think it's
yeah,
his job.
maybe Aller. I'm not huge on him, but
I
it
think
depends.
Rogers is coming back.
It depends what happens with Rodgers too,
Yeah.
because like I could easily see. I don't see McCarthy ever benching him,
I
but
still think that's Howard's job.
I mean we gotta see. I think Will Howard, even though he got drafted in the fourth last year, still has a higher ceiling than what Aller has. I mean I think Aller has a higher ceiling, but I do think Will Howard will put them in a position to win games.
Mhm.
And the AFC North, as good of a division as it was a few years ago, like we were talking about it being one of the best divisions in football a couple of years ago, it is not there anymore.
It's one of the tightest in football, but it's not the best.
Yeah. No, but there was times where like MVP
100%.
Lamar,
Yes. Yeah,
MVP
100%.
Lamar, Steelers were always a very capable team. Bengals went to the Super
Oh,
Bowl, I
yeah.
think, that year too.
Mhm.
Like that
Tail,
division,
at the tail end of the Killer Bees, when they had, yeah, the Browns even making the playoffs with Baker.
yeah,
Like, yeah,
with Baker and making an AFC championship.
very strong.
Yeah, like yeah, no, it's a very, very strong.
Yeah.
it was a very strong conference, and then the Browns
Mhm.
fell off. Bengals have not been able to replicate what they did that Super Bowl season.
Slow the
Lamar,
season as any. They got Dex now. They got the best D lineman in
yeah, I actually have a better outlook for the
NFL.
Bengals this year. I think
Yeah, they might be my sleepy pick,
my
sleeper.
sleepy pick this year is going to be the Dallas Cowboys.
No,
I think they're going to
I
win the
would never
division.
pick the Dallas Cowboys. No, I
I
probably would.
think they're going to win the division.
I don't think so. I
I
think Dak's gonna regress this season.
I don't.
All right, fair enough. All right, let's talk about something actually interesting. That's not the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh,
Let's
let's
talk
talk
about wide
about wide
receivers. Wide
receiver. Yeah,
receivers are really fun. Yeah, and tight ends might as well.
yeah. So wide receiver,
Who's your one?
my one to produce. It's hard because I think Tate is in a very lacking wide receiver room. I mean,
Yeah.
aside from Wandale Robinson, there's really not much. And Cam Ward is going to have to sling the ball. They're going to be behind. But
Mm,
Tyson to the Saints. I think
fair.
Olave is going to be dealing with some issues. I have a
Mm,
better outlook for him, and I think Shuck is a better,
yeah.
not a better quarterback than Cam Ward by any stretch of the imagination. But I do think they're going to be in more positions to win games. And
Yeah, I do think the
granted, I
Saints
think
got
I
good
think I think it's
receivers.
between Tate and Tyson, just because there's not really
Well,
a
I have
clear
someone to
one.
talk about in a little bit, but
Yeah, there's not really a clear one in Tennessee, but Olave is a
Mhm.
clear one in New Orleans, and they were starting to really creep up and make some plays last year. Um, Honestly, no, I'm not. I'm gonna stray away from that.
Very
I have
fair.
Kate, so I'm gonna go Casey Concepcion. I think is gonna be my
Really,
wide
you're gonna pick
receiver
a Browns
one.
wide receiver?
Yeah, I think he's gonna be the best receiver, fantasy receiver from this year, like producing this year.
That's a bad take.
It's a great take.
I hope it pans out, and I love the hot take. But you think there's a quarterback in Cleveland that can produce the best wide receiver in this class? I don't think so. I
No,
don't
I'm
see
not
it.
saying the best receiver in this class. I'm saying the best
I
fantasy outlook.
produce the best receiver. So like best production, I just don't see it. I don't think he's gonna throw a couple.
I think he has all the tools to do it. The room is very
I
lacking.
think
I
he has
mean,
enough
they
tools to do it. I don't think the quarterback does. If it's
yeah,
Deshaun Watson, no way. Unless he had a divine intervention, which maybe at that point, yeah, maybe. But
no, I'm big on like if Shador's playing this year, I really do think Shador. I think Shador could produce a receiver one in fantasy, and I think they're gonna feed him. Like I think he's gonna.
I think Shadur's better for Denzel Boston's outlook. I don't really see the KC conception. I
I think they're
see
gonna.
I
I think they're
see
gonna
Harold
feed.
Fannin and I see Denzel Boston having big years. I don't really see the downfield presence with Shadur's arm.
I'm not saying downfield presence. I'm saying Malik Neighbors type season, volume
That's
padding.
crazy. All right, fair enough. I love the
No,
take.
I think it's going to be a volume padding type of season for Casey, and I think that's going to put him ahead
All
of
right.
Tate, who is more of a deep threat, because I think Wandale is going to get majority of the touches
Yeah.
there. Tyson, I don't know how if he's fully healthy. I believe it's going to be Tyson. If he is
Yeah.
100% playing 16
Hmm.
games, I have him being the receiver one in fantasy.
Yeah.
But I do not have him playing 16. I do not have him playing 17 games. I think he
Yeah.
gets to 11-ish, somewhere
Which
around
is
there. And I
yeah.
think he's producing 15 points a game when healthy, but 15 points a game on 11 games is 165 points. If that's the leading receiver in fantasy out of the rookies, this was a bad wide receiver draft then.
I think so. I think that's interesting. I wouldn't go with Tyson because of the injuries, and I think there's a lot of mouths to feed in New Orleans now, which is funny to say, but there really is.
There's a
E-
host down in New Orleans.
Etienne loves Etienne loves to catch out of the backfield. Olave gets targets upon targets. Jawan Johnson gets plenty, and I don't know if Show is able to produce that much genuinely. I hope so, but I wouldn't pick him. Tate's interesting, but I just think he's going to be shadowed by every team's number one. I don't know if it's genuinely there for him, unless he is that stupendous of a player next season and he beats my projection, which I hope he does. Then I guess I would take him to be my number one because of the outlook, because of I think Illuminor and Wandale will take a lot of pressure off of him, so I could see that. But my pick would be Makai Lemon, and that's mainly because of the jump I think Devontae Smith's going to take. Funnily enough, I think Devonta Smith is going to take the bona fide wide receiver one in that offense. He's going to run with it. Devonta Smith is fantastic. He's a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL for me. So I think if he takes that core number one role, I think Mekhi Lemon can play the Devonta Smith role from last season. I think he can be a productive wide receiver two or flex on your fantasy team, and that's my outlook. I would have no. I mean, I'm taking Devonta Smith early in my drafts this year. I love Devonta. He is so good, and I can't wait till he gets the number one role because whenever AJ Brown's out, he produces. He always does. So I can't wait until Mekhi Lemon can take his spot so Devonta can take the next step. A guy later on in the draft that I think has the pop, I talked about him a little bit earlier, it's Chris Bell. Just because of how open that Dolphins offense is, why can't it be him? I don't know who
That's
else it
fair.
could be. Why can't it be? So if
That's
he does take the number one spot, then he's a great late round flyer. So tight end, who do you got? What do you got?
tight end. A lot of people are leaning Sadiq, but I think I'm going Stowers.
Interesting.
Uh,
Even in the backup role,
well, where's Stowers? I'm sorry.
he's
Let
in
me check.
he's in Philadelphia.
Oh, never mind. Never
Never
mind.
mind.
I thought you got drafted by another team. Here, let me just pull up some draft guys because I can't think about tight ends right now.
Okay, while you're doing that, for
Yeah,
me
you.
it's Sadiq. It's tough because that Jets team is such an interesting spot. However, out of all the tight ends, I suppose he got drafted to the best relative position, and he's just such an actual difference maker that I could see it. I don't love the outlook, I have to admit, just because the Jets have way too many tight ends and they love to play them all at the same time. However, if you're taking a guy at the 16 pick, it tells me that you're going to give him serious minutes. And if he can be a safety blanket for Geno Smith, who has been known to at least enjoy his tight ends from time to time, I think he could be a productive l- low end starter. If you're a two tight end league, maybe at that point, a guy to sit around like 15, 16. I don't think I see another tight end in this draft, especially because of how weak the class was,
Yeah.
to be a like serious producer. So I'd probably take Sadiq over any.
Yeah.
I thought Jolie. I talked about him earlier, but Jolie with the
Yeah.
Broncos,
He has an
it's a good
opportunity
spot
too.
to be a guy. It's an opportunity.
I
Besides
mean,
that, it's kind of
even
rough.
even Eli Radion or Rarion,
Yeah.
he does have the opportunity to, especially if Hunter Henry regresses. I don't think he will.
Yeah.
I think Hunter Henry's still in a position, but to be 6'6", 245 and run a 4.62,
Mm, it's impressive.
definitely excited. Definitely exciting.
Yeah, I really did like the Patriots draft this year. They had a lot of fun. Um,
No, they did a good job, and they sat on a lot of their picks. I mean, they traded up to get Lamu, but they didn't
but
trade up
I
that
like the
much.
rebound. The Super Bowl hangover is real, but they are starting to feel like they're not going to be one of those teams. I don't see them missing the playoffs next year or anything. I hope not. I don't see it. They haven't had a drastic reduction in any core position where I'd say that. So yeah. All right.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyone else we want to talk about before we wrap it up?
Maybe what we're doing in the next episode, if you have any ideas.
Yeah. We just tailed off this. We ended an hour ago. We've just been tailing off this episode. It's a great time. This is
Yeah,
what I like about the pod. I like that it's just us chilling and talking ball. It's beautiful, and I mean, we've named more guys in this podcast than we've named in any of the other podcasts, which is great. We've just been naming guys, just just rounds two through seven. So I think moving forward, I would love, yeah, if anyone is listening and they want to give feedback, please give some suggestions. It's always fun to hear what you guys have to say, even if we ignore it. But uh, I would love to talk
yeah.
about.
Say whatever you want. We're just gonna ignore it. It's fine.
We might just ignore it, but whatever. It's fine. But I think, yeah, obviously some historic lists would be cool. I think fantasy outlook. We're starting to get to that point where we can talk about sleepers, guys. To maybe we do a full episode on fantasy sleepers, just guys that are unknowns, just fantasy unknowns to keep an eye out for. That would be a really fun pod, just to do some homework and find
Yeah,
guys that maybe they don't hit, but one of them hits, and maybe there's a league winner in there.
Maybe they all hit, and this becomes the most famous fantasy podcast of all time.
Then we start selling it. We start
Then
selling
we
it.
start.
We sell out. We sell out. We buy it. We sell out. I don't think we
We,
ever sell out, but we sell out to all the betting companies.
oh yeah, no,
That's why
we'll have
we sell our
we'll,
soul. We sell our souls to DraftKings.
yeah, we sell our souls to God, what's the underdog?
We are we are Sunday Ball Kalshi. There's an hour. Oh no, we are Kalshi's Sunday Ball.
Yes,
Maybe,
yes, we are
maybe.
actually under poly market now. All right,
So this is a Polymarket podcast. All right, so we are sponsored by Four Hymns. If you can't get that shit up, just give us a call.
if you can't get that shit up,
I guess that's a better thing to be
you get
sponsored
down
by
with us.
than betting accounts, is it?
Um,
I want to be sponsored by Manscaped, so they send me like a brand new razor. That would be cool.
that'd be sick because
That's like a
the back.
nice brand new ball razor. That'd be sick.
Yeah, no, I'd love like one that I like a full body shaver. That'd be fire because the
Yeah.
you can't tell chest hair maxing right now.
I gotta be honest. I've been, I've been Zohan maxing. If anyone knows the reference, they'll understand what I'm saying. I hope no one does. But if anyone does understand it, I've been Zohan maxing, and it's not the worst thing ever. But I could use a Manscaped. Let's just say that.
Yeah, no, it gives you a little extra cushion for the pushing.
That shit's fucking hilarious. I'm sorry. That is so funny. Oh
Yeah,
boy. All right.
yeah,
I think that's all she wrote. I think that's all she wrote.
yeah, yeah. No, I think yeah, I think moving forward, I'm a big proponent of this. I don't know how you feel about it, but like definitely alternating between the two, between NFL and
Yeah,
college for a little
for
bit.
sure.
Just because we both have our own outlooks on everything, and the next few months are a little bleak in football in general, just because there's not much.
Do we want to do a transfers list? We can do a transfers list.
I think we go through our top 10 or
Yeah.
top five
Top 10
favorite QB
impact.
transfers.
I would really just do top 10 impact transfers.
Yeah, I'm big. I have my number one guy, and I don't
Yeah.
think it's the same as your number one guy. But
I don't, do we want to spoil? Is that the plan?
no, 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 no.
So we can spoil it.
I can spoil it right now. I can go through my list right now, but
There's a team out there that think is trending towards being a contender again this season, and they haven't been a contender in a few years.
yeah.
And the color scheme is green and yellow. That's all I'll say.
Honestly, we could do our college football prediction.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
I think we do that in the next
We
one
do our
because we've been
college.
talking about.
We low key could do our college football bracket. Low key.
I think we should.
We
I think
could
we should
pick a
do.
winner in April. We could do that. No one can
Yeah,
stop
because
us.
imagine we get it right, and then
Well, that's
we.
true. What if we get it
I
right?
think we do that, and then we go back to do it again in August, and then
Yeah. I
maybe
think my
when the
winner
committees
last year
come.
was Clemson. I have to admit that was pretty bad. I think
Uh,
I got behind Joel Klatt brainwashed me into thinking Clemson was going to win it all. They didn't.
I had Notre Dame, so
Genuinely, I guess
no, I had Notre Dame last season, winning the
I'm
whole
trying to
thing.
I'm trying to think right now. Like if I had to pick one team to win it all next year, it's tough, but
It's
it's always
Ohio.
a fun
It's
exercise.
Ohio State.
It's probably Ohio State.
It's probably
That's
Ohio.
not a fun pick though. That's not a fun pick.
It's between one. It's in the Big Ten. It's between Oregon and Ohio State for me,
If
and then in
Texas
the
is going to
SEC,
do it, this is the year for Texas.
yeah, and then in the SEC,
Yeah.
it's going to be Texas and Georgia.
All
Those are
right.
not
Well,
fun picks.
I think that's a good idea for an episode. I don't want to
Yeah,
talk too much about it.
yeah.
Uh,
I'm down to do that for the next episode. I think that'd be a real fun one.
Look at this shit. It low
We
key.
gotta get you. We gotta get you a chair.
It low key reverses. It's fucking sick.
Low key reversible
This
Pugelli.
chair be mad. Yeah, this chair be mad uncomfortable.
Yeah, you gotta get some cushion on
Look
that
at this cup chair, bro. I swear. Look at this shit.
cup
It's
chair.
dead ass just a fucking cup chair. I mean, it's
In
right
the
next to
corner.
it. Dead ass a cup chair.
I hate when they put I hate when they put cup
Low key,
chairs in the
low
bathroom.
key comfy as fuck on a Sunday. Hey, we out here. Hey, we out here.
Yeah, I hate when they
Comfy
put
as
cup
fuck on
chairs.
a Sunday, baby.
I hate when they put cup chairs in the bathroom stalls
What do you?
to watch
I
like
thought you were gonna
the
fucking.
Yeah, for the baby changing center, like that's just weird. I don't get it. I don't get it, but to
What are you
each their
talking
own.
about?
Talking about the
You,
toilet.
what bathroom do they have chairs in? What are you talking about? Well, like a random chair in the
No, I'm
bathroom?
talking about the toilet.
That's
Sit
what
on
you
the
were talking.
toilet, you watch the baby get changed.
I thought you were gonna call. Did you call it the jewel room? What did you call it?
Baby changing center.
Oh, the baby changing center. That's. I don't know if what's funnier, the jewel room or the baby changing center. I like that. I have to go take a trip to the baby changing center. People will look at you like you have four heads. What's wrong with you?
You already do that to me. I just be saying stuff
You
sometimes.
fucking destroy Irish trash cans, bro. They're your worst enemy.
Yeah, they they change your brain chemistry a bit.
Yeah, I gotta be. I bought a whole bunch of Milwaukee's Best, and those are like crap, very light beer. But I've been making my own Bush Apple. I bought a Honey Crisp apple juice, and I make them together, and I put it in the freezer. It's actually fantastic.
That's a beautiful thing.
It's
I
really
couldn't
good.
imagine anything a little
It's
bit
low.
better
It's
than
low.
that.
It's low key really good. I can't lie.
I did have a
Might
few bapples.
in a second.
I did have a few bapples this weekend. They were
I
wonderful.
just one.
Hey,
But
just
all
one
right,
of each.
I think this is where we call it. All right, so if anyone's hanging around at an hour 54 and 58, 59, an hour 55, thank you guys for listening today. I hope it was a good pod. I know we had a good time. And I
Yeah.
figure we'll see y'all later. It should be dropping. I'm going to set the premiere for Monday at noon. So this was recorded Sunday night. And yeah, I hope you guys have an excellent Monday. And hopefully we helped fight away Garfield. Bye, guys.
Yep. Have a good one.